I'm Jimmy be damned.
Don't be like Ryan.
You're watching Beers
and Beards.
And you know the drill. We talk sports, we talk comics,
Movies.
wrestling.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Things that guys dig, girls dig too, if they're cool.
Girls dig us.
We do this while drinking beer, and we are totally unscripted, so anything goes here on Beers and Beards.
Nothing's off the
I'm very
table.
excited as we tee off the show this week because we have yet to start talking about last week's big game between Dallas and Seattle.
Oh yeah.
I feel that my excitement, however, is going to be short-lived, so while you tee that conversation off, I'm going to drown some sorrows.
Well, you definitely should be because your team came out a tad bit flat. Now, it's a whole lot flatter than this beer is because this beer is great. But the Seahawks last week came out flat in a couple of ways. Now, I'm not going to pile up on you like my Cowboys did over the weekend, but I am going to hit you with a couple of questions. Now, first, we're going to go 50-50. Do you think that loss or that was more about the Seahawks losing their way, or was the Cowboys win more about the Cowboys finding their way? What you going?
So for me, that's a tough call because I do look at that game and see both sides of the coin. Like I don't think Seattle played well, but I think Dallas played very well.
Okay.
And I don't think it's just like Dallas got the win because we came out there and stumbled and fumbled. We still fought for it.
I
We
agree.
still made it difficult, and your team had to make some fabulous plays. That 3rd and 20 was amazing. So for me, I really think this might be a true 50-50 because one team did not play its best, but the other team didn't luck into a win. Your Cowboys played tremendously well. The offensive line was the story of the game. Jerry, as a general manager, has taken a lot of flack over the years.
Yep.
And even picking these offensive linemen in the first round,
Which isn't something that he was very enthusiastic about doing, especially this past draft, being he was the only one in the room who wanted Johnny Football. But it's cool. I'm glad he's in Cleveland and not on our roster.
But these are things we've beat him up. He's
Yeah,
been beat up.
I'm gonna
He's
give him
been
his
drugged
props.
through the mud, and
I'm gonna give that man his
I
props.
tell you what, the offensive line, DeMarco's getting tremendous yards before he's touched. I mean, he's getting you guys set up well on first down, so you're dealing with short yardage on 2nd and 3rd down. That offensive line, man, like I really think that was the story of the game, maybe more so than anything else. And I'm going to go true 50-50 here because, again, I think Seattle played lousy, but I'm not taking anything away from you Cowboys. They played great.
And I definitely appreciate someone who is not at all a Cowboys sympathist, or sympathizer rather, to give us our props. But realistically, I'm going to go 100% Dallas, of course, because I'm a homer. Mostly because between the fumbled snap and the block punt, which was a good play that you guys made on special teams.
Special teams played well.
And for Seattle, special teams frequently does show up if at points the defense is a little lax, or if at points Russell isn't able to move the ball. But based on us spotting you those 10 points, man, I got to say, coming back from that deficit, I got to put it all on Dallas. So we can agree to disagree. But moving on to something that I think that we're both going to agree on, my man DeMarco Murray, as you mentioned earlier, he's lighting the league up, leading the league in touches and in yards. You got Beast Mode, who this past week didn't go Beast Mode because I think he had, 10? 8?
10 carries.
10 carries.
62 yards.
Which is very good. That's 6.2, and of course, I think that the only way to play ball in the league is to run 30 times. I don't care if you got a bum out there, just try it. But are you going, let's go 50-50. Do you think that Marshawn's absence from the running game played more into your loss, or do you think that DeMarco Murray's push forward went ahead and spelled it in for you guys?
Well, I will go our lack of power running. Because we tried to
I'm
be
going
cute.
with you. I am.
Marshawn didn't get a lot of carries, but Percy got his fair share. I believe Percy touched the ball something like 8 times for -1 yards.
Oh, man.
We tried to do a lot of cute and clever things that I'm okay with happening in certain situations, but we got a bit carried away. we didn't have the power running attack, and what that did for us, in addition to not featuring Marshawn and getting the yards on the ground and the offense that we needed, we lost the time of possession battle in a big way.
And that'll do it.
And we've had 2 games this year where that happened. Not surprisingly, both were losses. San Diego, 42 minutes. You guys had like 38 minutes. We are drinking Foster's. It's premium ale. It's one of my favorite beers. I am greatly enjoying it. We're going to take a commercial break.
Oh, yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to talk Walking Dead, and we're going to have a lot more football for you. Stay tuned.
Who you got?
Y'all gon' remember me from now to infinity. On top till you sick of me. Top headline, rockin' for centuries. All times now, you get yours eventually, but y'all gon' remember me.
We are back. You're watching Beers and Beards. I am wearing a Club or Die shirt. This could be either because I live at the club. My life is about the club, and the only time I'm not at the club is when I'm here doing this show. Or it could be like one of those Pulp Fiction things where Jules and my man had to wear the strange, funny clothes because it wasn't their clothes, but somebody else hooked them up with their clothes and then laughed at them, and they were like, it's your clothes. You've seen the movie, 20 Years Old. Does that make you feel any older?
No.
Okay, you shouldn't. You're very young at heart. We're not old. Pulp Fiction, 20 years old, fabulous movie.
Oh, the movie's 20 years old.
True that.
Oh, wow.
See, now you do feel a little old.
Damn, I do feel a little
All right,
old.
so
don't be like Ryan, and I keep it real.
I like your South Dakota sticker.
Oh, yeah. I got that from one of the coolest kids I know.
I'll tell you what, Darren Grace, the Wonder Child.
Yeah.
We're jumping into NFL football this week. We're going to break down the slate for you like we always do. It's our Who You Got segment. Hit us up on Twitter, hashtag Who You Got. Thursday night, we had the Jets and the Pats. We both picked the Pats, and we didn't lose any sleep over it. Sunday, we're seeing a lot of harmony on the set, okay? So
It's just this 1 week, though.
could be.
It's just this. I might pick a game against you this week, not because the other team's probably going to lose, just to pick against you this week.
Please do that. I need to catch up with you. All right, but so let's start looking at the action at 1 o'clock on Sunday. We've got Atlanta coming to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. We're not in love with either of these teams, but we're both going with
The Ravens.
We've got the Titans taking on the Washington Redskins. Southside VA, you love your Deadskins. They are terrible. We'll forgive you, but you love them still, and you're supportive, even though we talk about them all the time and nobody backs them up like we ask you to do on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. We are very active.
Unfortunately, this week, I'm going to have to err to the side of the Skins, although I hate them. I can't see them losing to the
Cowboys
Titans.
fan picking the Redskins.
Yeah, well, Gibbs must be happy now.
I'm going with the team with the ugliest color scheme in the history of sports. Yes, Southside VA. I mean, your Washington Redskins. It doesn't even sound appealing. It's burgundy, mustard yellow. You wouldn't do a room like that. You can say you like the colors, you like the uniforms. Never in a million years would you do a room like that.
Lies.
It's awful. It's ugly. 1 o'clock, we got Seattle.
Yep.
Licking their wounds. What did the doctor serve up for them? The St. Louis Rams, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you know something? After coming off of the loss to the Cowboys, those Seattle Seahawks have got to be pissed. And unfortunately, the doormat in their division, those St. Louis Rams, who we just see get rim jobbed on Monday night, they're going to be in for a lot more pain, man. They're going down this week. Do I got to ask you?
No, you don't.
Is there any way that you can see them, the Seahawks, losing this one?
It's
No, it's
possible.
not. I got Zach Stacy on my fantasy squad. I think he got me 3 points last week. He is not starting. He might not even stay on the team as long as No Sean, and No Sean's on IR.
He might have a DeMarco Murray week this week. We both go Seattle. We've got Cleveland going to play Jacksonville, the Jaguars, the team that cannot win. I picked them last week.
I was about to say.
The only game they could win.
What do you think this week?
They fought for it. They lost. I'm certainly not picking them this week.
Thank
that
God,
is a victory
man.
for the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
And here's a prediction for you. The Cleveland Browns, 3-2. When you look at their schedule, they're going to be 6-2 before long. Look at the next 3 games.
I might take it a step further, man. The Browns have got me believing. I'm calling them Believeland. I think the Browns are going to get into the playoffs. I'm not going to say they're going to win that division yet because the Ravens have a lot more talent, but the Browns I got a lot more respect for.
My man has placed the Browns in the playoffs. Also look for snow and hell. We will take a commercial break.
Right after Beers and Beards. You know it. Welcome back to Beers and Beards. Don't be like Ryan.
Jimmy be damned.
This week on our slate of games, we got a couple of games like we mentioned earlier we agree on, some we don't. But we want to get to the tough talk. We got the Miami Dolphins going into Chicago to face Jay Cutler and John Reinhold's Bears. Jimmy, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Bears.
The Bears.
But this is a game pitting 2 teams I cannot figure out against one another. We've seen both of these teams look fantastic this year. It's been infrequent, but we've seen it.
That's true.
And we've seen both of these teams look lost in the wilderness. Chicago has so much offensive firepower. They should easily be one of the best offenses in the NFL. They aren't because of schematic issues and I don't know, Jay Cutler's poor body language. But I'm picking them just because that offensive firepower is there. It's got to be only a matter of time before the fireworks go off. I mean, we've got Brandon Marshall, we've got Alshon Jeffrey, we've got Forte, Martellus Bennett.
Yeah.
This team is
Bennett's
stacked.
He used to be a Cowboy. I'm not really big on him.
I think stat-wise, I think he might be leading the league for tight ends this year. I mean, he's
I've seen him come out there balling.
The talent's there. The Dolphins, we've seen the play, but I don't know how they're doing it when I look at the roster.
I don't either. Like I mentioned earlier, no Sean's gone for the year. That's a big blow to the Dolphins, but they do have a backup that's been very serviceable.
True.
Both teams, the Bears and the Dolphins, lost last week. I got a feeling that the Bears are a little bit more pissed about it, even though the Dolphins game came down to the last second play. But the Bears are home. I'm going to switch up on you, bro. I'm going with the Bears, which brings us to the next matchup, another 1 o'clock game. We got one team that's trying to hobble their way back to greatness and another team that's kind of looking forward to something. We got those New Orleans Saints and the Detroit Lions. Jimmy, who you got?
This is another one. We're at odds here. I could go either way. I'm picking Detroit because they're at home. I don't think Megatron is going to be on the field. I know that hurts. And Detroit, what do you say? I mean, there are some Detroit fans out there watching like,
where?
How do you make sense of this team? Okay?
I don't.
I mean, they have weapons. They have
defense.
Defense, offense. They've got.
Do they have a running game?
I mean, they've got Reggie and they've
Reggie
got
is not a running. Yeah,
they can do
Bell.
the short yardage passing and stuff. This team, they're always so up and down, and they look great one week, the next terrible, or they start a year on fire and then they sink like a stone.
Yeah.
They're the Lions, man. They'll do what the Lions will do. I'm picking them only because they're at home. And man, those Saints this year, it's just the magic I think is running out.
The magic ain't ran all the way out. Now I've gone on the record saying these ain't the Bounty Gate Saints, but honestly, they're due for a win. Megatron ain't out there. And these is not the Vikings that the Lions is about to play. Last week, I picked against the Lions. This week, I'm picking against them again. One of these teams is going to beat the Lions. I'm going with the Saints, which brings us to another matchup. But we both kind of agree on these. We got Marvin Lewis's Cincinnati Bengals. Shout out to Superman. Going into Indianapolis.
I didn't talk about my feelings on the Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals definite. So I ain't got to ask. Well, I'm going to ask you.
The divorce was finalized.
I'm going to ask you, Bengals, Coach Jimmy, who you got?
Colts, easy pick.
All right, which brings us to our next matchup. I was personally thinking Teddy Bridgewater was going to see the light last week. Instead, man, he just saw a whole lot of tunnel through 3 interceptions. And this week, he's taking those 3 interceptions straight to Buffalo. Kyle Orton led Buffalo Bills. Jimmy, who you got?
I'm going with Buffalo. I'm not in love with Buffalo.
No.
I don't even really like Buffalo.
They had a good showing against New England.
They did.
It was respectable.
And I'm going to go with them in this game.
I am
because
too.
I like them more than I like Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not saying a lot, but it's true.
Well, this right here is Beers and Beards. You hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or Tumblr at Beers and Beards, at Don't Be Like Ryan.
Jimmy be damned. We're drinking Foster's. I'll be clubbing during the commercial break, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Who you got?
Hey, Southern Virginia, do you need a commercial for your business? Well, Animate Now is the response to all your business marketing. We provide animation, presentations, professionalism, and solid competitive compositions and services, which include digital production, commercials, short films, movies, and motion graphics. Our cinematography covering your
The club was bumping, the place was packed, but you're watching Beers and Beards, and we are back. We're about to take a look at some NFL games that we see the same way. There's a lot of harmony here in the next few minutes. It happens on the show. The Carolina Panthers are traveling to
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
And we like
the Packers.
Absolutely.
Next.
Kansas City goes into San Diego, and we've been disrespecting Kansas City on this show. Will it happen again this week?
Yes. Next.
We go San Diego. The Arizona Cardinals facing the Oakland Raiders. The game is in the black hole. Carr looked sharp last week. Will that guarantee a win for the Raiders?
No. Next.
We go Cardinals. The New York Giants head into Dallas to play the Cowboys. I think it's probably pretty transparent.
There should be
here.
a button for this. Next.
The San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football go to Denver to play the Broncos. Now this one
it's going to be a slugfest.
It's not as easy of a pick.
It's a
maybe as we're
slugfest.
making it out to be. This is a tough contest.
But
where do we go?
Next, Denver.
We're both taking the Broncos. Sorry, San Fran. Monday Night Football. Houston.
Two
going
teams.
to Pittsburgh.
Underperforming.
The Steelers looked fantastic last. Wait a minute.
No.
The Steelers looked fantastic the week before. No.
No.
The Steelers look.
No, man. No, the Steelers look bad. Next, we're going Houston.
We're taking the Texans on Monday Night Football. That's your NFL slate, courtesy of Beers and Beards. We are going to take a commercial break. We're going to drink some beer, and we're going to come back and talk about The Walking Dead.
We waited all year. We talking Walking Dead again.
Fantastic season premiere for season 5. We're going to talk that when we return. You're watching Beers and Beards. We're drinking and clubbing and acting foolish during the commercial break. That's how we do it. Club or die. You are watching Beers and Beards. I'm Jimmy B. Damned.
My bad. I didn't know we were shooting. I was so caught up in this book, man. It's written by one of my favorite authors, a guy named James Whalen. I don't know if you heard of him or not.
I heard he's a hack.
I heard he's pretty damn good. I cannot put this thing down.
Don't be like rim jobbed his last book.
Well, drinking and reading. Don't be like Ryan. You are back on Beers and Beards, and I can tell you right now unequivocally, I am excited to death. I've been waiting all year for The Walking Dead. Everybody's been talking about it. I've even seen it on major news, like finally, like they're finally noticing that there's The Walking Dead, the biggest phenomenon in television history. I would go on and say.
Zombie show.
I know.
There's something going right with this.
Yeah. So, talking Walking Dead, what are the 3 biggest things you took from the season? First of all, did you like it?
Loved it.
What are the 3 biggest things you took from the season premiere that you can tell the people about The Walking Dead right now?
3 takeaways for me. First and foremost, best episode I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
The first 2 years, the storylines that they did, the initial outbreak and the farm sequence, I thought the television show outdid the comics.
Yes, I
The
agree.
prison storyline, I really think the show dropped the ball, and that disheartened me.
For the record, he's a Shane guy.
And I'm a big comics fan. The Terminus storyline, I think we're right back to where we started. I feel like AMC topped the comic series when it comes to that storyline, and I love the way it played out. I think there's still a bit more waiting for us, but I think the show topped the comic. That's takeaway number 1. Takeaway number 2, the wonderful ending. How often do we see an episode of The Walking Dead where so many things fans have been clamoring for?
Yeah, happened. A happy
in the last
ending
reel.
in the zombie apocalypse?
And it was really
Is it
nice.
possible?
And then I'm going to lump my last 2 together. Rick is where I need him to be. Badass Rick, like you, wants you to hang around. And Tyrese getting to do some damage. Love seeing those 2 things. We need a lot more of that on the show. What about you? What'd you get out of it?
Man, I absolutely love that Carol saved the day.
Absolutely.
By herself. There was...
Can we say spoilers, just in case? If you're a week behind The Walking Dead, wake up, get out of the coma. But spoilers, anyhow.
If they're a week behind on The Walking Dead, then they deserve to wake up in the zombie apocalypse. Now, let's go right ahead.
Ebola could happen.
Carol, for the past 2 years, just her character development and bringing her to a point where she's able to go into Terminus by herself and free the group. Carol's a complete badass, man. Mucho props, much respect. Of course, we can't forget about it. We said it on the show. You've read the comics. You kind of gave me a few hints, but the cannibals were at Terminus. We were right. They didn't show too much people eating, but we were right.
Little people eating goes a long way.
Oh, of course. And perhaps the biggest thing, the one thing that I marked out on was not the Carol Darryl hug. The one thing I marked out on, my man Morgan's back.
Nice.
Which does unofficially start Bob Watch. Because on The Walking Dead, the television show, 2 black guys cannot coexist in the zombie apocalypse. Happened with Tyrese, T-Dog, and who was the black guy at the prison? I know his name started with a T still. I'm just happy that we got a Bob that starts with a B and a Morgan that starts with an M. Oh man, I love The Walking Dead.
I want to give your boy Daryl props too. You mentioned the Daryl Carroll hug. I thought it was really cool that we know that when he saw her and he saw the crossbow, like he was really feeling all emotional because he was happy he got his crossbow back.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to hurt her feelings, so he played it off like he was just really happy to see her.
That's what I think it was. But
that
I
was
think
cool.
the chicks had it mistaken. I think most females who watched the show thought it was just he was happy to see Carol. Me personally, I'm with you. I think he was happy that she got the crossbow.
It's back. We're going to take a commercial break. We've got a special guest for Halloween coming up when we return.
Oh, yeah.
You're watching Beers and Beards. We hope you enjoyed our take on the NFL slate this weekend and The Walking Dead. We'll be talking more Walking Dead as the year progresses. We love it. We're drinking Foster's. We're happy. You're watching Beers and Beards. You're cool.
You know it.
Well, first off, I was going to go Never Look Back Again from Pirate Pub Productions for my new school picture. I believe you're somewhat familiar with this
Oh yeah,
one.
that's a
But
great
it was
one.
too frightening and too much of a mind bender. So, For my new school horror film, I'm going with the Evil Dead remake. I, too, was disappointed that there was no Ash. But there is only one Ash, and that is Bruce Campbell, and he was too old for a reboot, so it makes sense. And furthermore, it is a splendidly and gloriously disgusting film that is an absolute delight for those of you who enjoy the gory stuff. Nail guns, dismemberment, arms being sawed off. You could show it to your mother and enjoy it greatly. The Evil Dead remake is my new school recommendation. My old school recommendation is the Boogans. What are the Boogans, you might wonder?
What are the Boogans?
They are horrendous special effects, prosthetic plastic creatures that are not convincing at all and look outrageous. Yet, the movie is very, very entertaining. Sometimes, bad special effects are more fun to watch than good special effects.
I will agree.
Besides, it's 1981. They didn't have CGI. All they had was crappy rubber monster effects.
Yep.
And these are, well, if it can be said, great, crappy plastic monster rubber effects. It's the Boogans. You will enjoy it. You will probably laugh. But laughter is good. Laugh while you can, because one day I will come for you. And you, Jimmy be damned, you can only hide from me for so long.
You know something? I can't do this either. I'm out of here.
There was an appointment I'm yet to tell you about, actually.
You ain't got
Yes, make yourself scarce, and I will take the beer.
No, I'm not doing it no more. I told you it was a stretch.
Yes, yes, yes. You have been watching Beers and Beards. I am the Gym Reaper. And now is time for the show to come to an end and the Gym Reaper to get drunk.